just a quick tutorial on stone lifting. Stone lifting is probably the oldest strength discipline in the world. Since people have been around, they've been lifting up rocks and competing with each other to see who can lift the heavier rocks. Stones are really fabulous for several reasons as compared to using a barbell, for example. First of all, you have to get different grips on it. You can't get a really kind of simple grip like you would in a barbell. You have to find the grip on the stone, and then you have to employ a lot of wrist strength to hold it into your body, especially for bigger stones. Also, it gives you a full range of motion where you're lifting it right up onto the shoulder and in some cases above the head. We're not going to deal with that today, but we're just going to get to the shoulder. And also for me, stones have a natural frequency. They're part of the planet, and all of us have a frequency that we operate on, the human frequency of the body, which is the same as the earth, and the rock is the same. So the Indians, for example, believe that you actually take energy from the stone because you're at the same frequency, and I would agree with that. So there's various types of lift. Today we're going to do our simple stone lift. So we're going to first of all pick the stone. So we need to find our handles or find our grips, which means you have to get the balance of where the stone is equal. If you lift it too far to one end or another, it's going to fall out and you're not going to get a good balance. We're going to use a smaller stone here today, so it's easier to talk and work through it. So I'm going to pick the stone. When I do so, I'm going to use my legs more than my arms. Some people will use their arms and pull it up, which is not wrong, but it requires a lot more arm strength, and I'm definitely strong in my legs, so I use that to my advantage. So I come down, I find the balance of the stone, the grip, and I'm going to just use my legs to pull it up to my waist. At this point here, where I've got it in the hinge of my hip, I'm going to drop and get very low. As low as I can, well, pretty low. This is as low as I can get. But at this point here, I've got the stone in my lap. I have what we call lapped the stone. What I want is this stone to be in my hip hinge, my hip crease. I can sit here for a while. I've got the stone off the ground. I'm pretty comfortable. And so I can wrestle it in to get it into where I want it on my hips. Get underneath it a little bit. Find a grip I like. Could be any grip I want. I can kind of not touch my hands. I can connect my hands. And then just thrust my hips in. That's an important point. I'm going to run through that again. When I drop down and I've got the stone here, I don't want to think I'm going to stand up, because this actually ends up being a more difficult lift. What you want to do is think about visualizing thrusting your hips into the stone. That's going to bring you up anyway, but it's also going to put your body in the right position to actually have the stone here on your chest. So we're going to be chesting the stone. So let's run through that stage again. So we're going to find our balance of the stone, find our handles, find our grips. Okay, I'm going to use my legs to pick. I'm going to pick it into my hip hinge and drop into this squat. I'm going to get the stone where I want it, get underneath it a bit, and then from here I'm going to thrust my hips in up into the chest. So from this position here, I'm going to wrestle it up onto my shoulder. So I need to get underneath the stone, and you notice my back is bent back a bit here so that I can allow the stone to sit and not fall forward. So from here, I'm going to thrust it up, and when I feel it on my shoulder nicely, my hand's going to come out. I have successfully shouldered the stone. So that's the basics of the stone lift. We go from the, let's just move this out of the way. We go from the pick, where I use my legs, I get it to this hip hinge, and I drop into the deep squat, holding the stone here. I try and get underneath it somewhat, connect my hands or grab the stone however I want, and then I'm going to thrust my hips in, and it ends up with me having a concave back. From there, I'm going to get under the stone, shift it up onto my shoulder, get it balanced on my shoulder. Hand goes out to prove I have control of it on my shoulder, and then I can put the stone down. That's the basic stone lift of what's called stone to shoulder. So if you like the content, please subscribe. I have lots of resources available on the WarYoga website. I also have 2 WarYoga books, the WarYoga book and WarYoga Zurkhane. One is about India and one is about Iran. And I also have the WarYoga Instagram. You can check that out. I have a video every other day up on there with lots of sort of varied content around what I'm doing at WarYoga. Thank you for watching.